Dear student, in the class of grammar today we are going to see chapter number 22, relative clauses, and we are going to see the entire chapter today because now there is no more time for part 8, and I am also going to send the answer of all the exercise except last exercise that you have to do by yourself through the PDF. Okay, here I am going to explain chapter number 22, relative clause. We already know that there are two type of clauses. We have seen this in the chapters that there are two type of clauses: independent or main clause that make complete sense of their own, and subordinate clauses that require support of an independent clause to make complete sense. The book is on the table. It is the example of independent clause. The boy who won the first prize is my brother. Now, who won the first prize? Independent clause is the boy is my brother. Subordinate clause is what? Who won the first prize? Now, look at these sentences. The young man dropped us home. The young man is my neighbor. Here also two clauses are there. We can combine these two clauses and we can write like this: the young man who dropped us home is my neighbor. Here are some more such examples. Did you like the food that we ate at the restaurant? Two sentences. One is main clause, another is the second. Okay. So in these sentences, the subordinate clause gives us additional information about a noun in the main clause. Did you like the food that we ate at the restaurant? What that we ate at the restaurant gives additional information about the food, the particular food that we ate at the restaurant. Okay. So subordinate clause gives additional information about a noun in the main clause. Subordinate clause that gives additional information about a word, phrase or idea in the main clause are called relative clause. Relative clause are also known as adjective clause, qualify a noun, phrase or idea, and hence they do the work of an adjective. In these sentences, the subordinate clause, you can see that this is the house where we lived 5 years ago. Where we lived 5 years ago give the additional information about the house, and so it does the work of adjective also. In the exercise 1, identify the relative clause and its antecedent in each of these sentences. So here one is done for you. So relative clause, the relative clause modify the word or phrase or idea that is called the antecedent. Here the word, phrase or idea that is modified by the relative clause is called its antecedent. Here I am going to send you the answer of the exercise 1 through the PDF, so don't worry about it. But keep in the mind that antecedent means what? The word or idea or the phrase which is modified by the relative clause. Now relative pronoun and relative adverb. Here also keep the words main word, pronoun and adverb in the mind. Pronouns are the word which comes in the place of noun. And usually we know that relative pronouns are some words. When I am going to read, you will easily come to know. And adverbs are the word which add something to the verb. Now, this main concept must be clear in your mind that what is adverb? The adverb means that word which adds something to the action or the verb, that is called adverb. And pronouns are the word that comes in the place of noun. They are called pronoun. Relative clauses are introduced by relative pronoun: who, whom, whose, which, and that. In 7th standard also you learn. A relative pronoun is called so because it relates a describing clause to its antecedent in the main clause. The antecedent of a relative pronoun is usually a noun. These are the things you have to put underline in it. First, the relative clause introduced by the relative pronoun, that is who, whom, whose, which and that. A relative pronoun is called relative pronoun because it relates describing clause to its antecedent. See here, Rita, who is my boss? Now, who is my boss? Describe the word Rita, the noun. Okay, so that is his antecedent, and it relate who is my boss relate with Rita. So it is called relative pronoun. And the antecedent of a relative pronoun is usually a noun. Here you can see that Rita is a noun. Rita, who is my boss, is very considerate. Relative pronoun who, antecedent Rita. This is the house that Jack built. Relative pronoun that, house is antecedent. And you know that who, whose and whom are used for people, which for things, and that can be used for both people and things. A relative clause may also be introduced by relative adverb where, when, and why. The hotel where we stayed was luxurious. Where we stayed. Shows, add something, where we stayed. Do you remember the time when we almost missed the flight? When? Saying that when the action happened, the time when we almost missed the flight. And Manu told me the reason why. So when, where, and why are relative clause. They are relative adverb. It is also comes with a relative clause when they are telling about time, place, or reason. In the exercise 2, you have to pick out the relative pronoun or relative adverb and you have to say its antecedent. Answer I am going to send you with the PDF. I am going to send you only answer. You have to write with a question so that you can come to know how to write answer in the exam or why this answer is. And if any kind of query is there, you can ask me and get it cleared. But without question, you can't understand the problem, understand the concept clearly. So question is must. Now relative clause are the two kinds of relative clause. Defining relative clause and non-defining relative clause. Defining relative clause are also known as restrictive relative clause. Non-defining relative clause also known as non-restrictive relative clause. Now let us see the first defining relative clause. We know that the relative clause are the subordinate clause and that gives additional information about a word, phrase or idea in the main clause. If information given is essential to the meaning of the sentence, we call it defining or restrictive relative clause. Here see the example. A boy who eats too much pizza will become fat. A cobbler is a person who repairs shoes. Now here, if we are going to say that a boy will become fat, the sentence appear incomplete. Which boy? Or absurd. We can't understand it. We can't get the meaning clearly. A boy will become fat. Which boy? Who eats too much pizza is necessary over here. However, when we add the relative clause, who eats too much pizza, it becomes clear. When a boy eats too much pizza, he becomes fat. Similarly, the information given by the relative clause, who repairs shoes, define a cobbler. Because cobbler only the person who repairs shoes, no any other. If you are going to remove it, a cobbler repairs shoes. A cobbler is a person. Now, is a person what? We have to say that who repair shoes. Okay. So, such a type of clauses are called defining relative clauses because they are needed to get the clear meaning. In each sentence, the defining clause is essential to the meaning of the sentence, and as it gives information that defines or explains the antecedent, notice that the antecedent of a defining clause is often a common noun. They are of a common noun. Not a but. Here a boy or a cobbler, they are common noun. An instrument that is used to measure temperature is called thermometer. Now, non-specific noun, an instrument that is used to measure temperature. Okay. Children who wish to attend must get a letter of permission from their parents. Now, we are non-specific. Children, any children. So, they are almost they are of a common noun. The relative pronoun that is used when in defining relative clause and we do not use a comma before it. You can see here, an instrument that is used to measure temperature is called thermometer. There is no comma in the sentence. We sometimes omit relative pronoun and adverb while introducing defining relative clause. We can omit the relative pronoun from a relative clause when its antecedent is the subject of the main verb in the relative clause. You see here how. This is the car the thieves used to escape. Now here we can write like this, that generally we are writing like this, that this is the car that the thieves used to escape. But here we can omit that or which. Why? Because as the antecedent car is the object of the main verb used. What the thieves used? The car. So it is a main object of the verb use which is in the main clause. Then this is the car that or which runs on the hydrogen. Here we can't remove that. Which or that cannot be omitted from this sentence as the main verb in the relative clause runs is intransitive and has no object. So that is required or which is needed over here. When relative pronoun is not subject of relative clause it introduced, it may be removed. Where is the bag? He left for me. Now here a relative pronoun which is there. Actually we can say that where is the bag which he left for me, because bag is a non-living things. We have to use which as relative pronoun. But the relative pronoun which may be dropped because subject of the clause he left for me is pronoun he, not the bag. So we can drop to which. Okay. Now non-defining relative clause. In simple way, if I am going to say, when the relative clause is not compulsory to identify the noun or idea or the phrase in the main clause, it is said non-defining clause. And when we use non-defining clause, we are going to separate it with a comma. Okay, these two things you keep in mind, which I said. A relative clause is a non-essential when it does not define its antecedent but only gives additional information about it. You may put underline because it is important to know which type of relative clause can be considered as a non-defining, which gives only additional information not needed to define its antecedent. Such a relative clause are called non-defining or non-restrictive relative clause. Surbi, who works in Mangalore, was my student. Now, who works in Mangalore is not needed to identify Surbi. We can easily say that Surbi was my student. And in that, Surbi is identified only. Which Surbi is my student. Who works in Mangalore is not needed over here. So you can see also that it is who works in Mangalore is separated by comma. If we remove relative clause from the sentence, they will still make sense. Surbi was my student. This bus goes to the Red Fort. Okay. When the antecedent of a relative clause is specific or well defined, the relative clause is usually a non-defining relative clause. Bunty, who eats too much pizza, has become fat. Now here Bunty is a proper noun. His grandmother, who is 80 years old, goes for a walk every day. His grandmother, defined one. Bunty also defined a proper noun. So here we can say that Bunty has become fat. Who eats too much pizza? Not, it gives only additional information. Or who is 80 years old gives only additional information. Okay? We see that the addition to the relative clause, we say that the addition of the relative clause is non-essential here, and these clauses are non-defining relative clause. Which clause? Who eats too much pizza or who is 87 years old. We cannot omit the relative pronoun or relative adverb from non-defining relative clause. In defining, it can be possible in certain way or sometime, but in non-defining relative clause, it can't. Sheetal, who sings very well, is also an excellent dancer. Now, who sings very well is needed. Means gives additional information, but we cannot omit relative pronoun. Sheetal is also an excellent dancer, but who sings very well. The Superstar's new film, which was released last week, is a flop. Here we can't say like that the Superstar's new film was released last week is a flop. It is who is needed over here. Which is needed over here. In the first also who is needed. We can't omit who. Okay. Then here we have to, in exercise 3, underline the relative clause in each sentence and say whether it is defining or non-defining. It is easy exercise, though I am going to send you in the PDF. Now punctuation in relative clause, that I explain in Beadle also, that if the relative clause is defining clause, there is no punctuation mark will be there. If it is non-defining clause, then non-defining clause will going to separate by comma. Here you can see in the two examples, I found a coin that is more than 100 years old. Now here I found a coin that is more than 100 years old. It is defining clause, that is more than 100 years old, so there is no comma. People who lives in a glass house should not throw stones. Who lives in a glass house, it is needed defining clause, so there is no comma. Now then you see the next one. The Taj Mahal, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world, is in Agra. Here okay, the relative clause, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world. Interesting one, attractive one, but not needed. The Taj Mahal is in Agra, sufficient. So this relative clause is non-defining and it is separated by comma. Okay. In the exercise 4, we have to add comma where it is needed. I am going to send the answer through the PDF. And exercise 5, complete each of the following sentences using a suitable relative clause of your own that you have to write down by yourself. If it is a defining clause or non-defining relative clause, but if it is you are going to use a defining relative clause, there won't be any comma. If you are going to use non-defining clause, you have to separate it with a comma. Okay. So this exercise you have to do by yourself, because everybody can think in his way. For example, Junior Barnes Dash is a British writer. Now here one is given that spoke at the meeting, or to whom I meet. Okay, or John Barnes, who is my relative or who is my uncle. So any type of relative clause can become or you can use, but be sure if it is defining, there is no comma. If it is non-defining, you have to separate the relative clause with a comma. So here our chapter number 22, relative clause is going to over, and next time we will meet with chapter number 23, conditional. Till the time, goodbye. Thank you.